Hello, hello.
Hello. It is Marissa with the C over here from Real Power, Real Life, Real You. And I'm here with my good sis Latoya. Hello,
Hello,
friend.
everybody. Hello, hello. Coming live. Real power, real life, real you. And it is the real season. So we're getting ready to go in because this season is calling something very specific for you. And I know this because otherwise you wouldn't even be on this page. You wouldn't be watching it. So wherever you are, whenever you're watching it, this season is calling something very specific from you. And it is that you get naked.
Yes, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I'm excited about this conversation. I guess I'll start by sharing a little bit about me for those of you who do not know me. Again, I am Marissa with the C, a free, courageous, authentic woman. And I support folks in taking a deep breath, taking a step back, releasing the weight of the world, and creating a life of radical self love, freedom, and abundance. And I do that through the power of breath work, through the power of different coaching programs, self love strategies, and as well as just moving my body in a way that feels good to me. And hopefully, other people just enjoy it as well. I'm not saying I'm a dancer of any kind, but I am a dancer. You know, it's
Listen, it be what it be. You understand? And like, who gets to define? We do.
hmm hmm exactly. So.
Yeah. Um, Yeah, I'm Latoya, and listen, I'm here for you to up level your life. I'm here for you to release the goddess self that is within you that has been suppressed for millennia throughout the ages. I'm here to connect you to the ancestral wisdom and the power that is within,
Mm.
and truly help you recreate your financial legacy, your spiritual legacy, and any other legacy that it is you're desiring to leave. And
Yes,
yeah, with that being said, do you want to start with the card?
I do. I do. Let me just, today technology is a thing. And we got Mercury coming through very soon. So we love this Goddess Rising deck, this African Goddess Rising deck.
We do.
I love this. Okay.
That wasn't what I meant, but okay.
I, I told you I like to dance. So this card is 30, Mami Wata. It is the
Mhm.
goddess of emotional nakedness, and she is a beauty.
Mm.
Um, so the goddess of emotional nakedness, Mami Wata, is and her sisters live in an Ikpoba River in Benin City, Nigeria. But the ancient mermaid goddess is her own global pantheon. Mami Wata
Mm.
influences emotions and gifts her followers with clairvoyance and healing powers. It says,
Mm.
hide no more. The emotional nakedness you avoid is your superpower, not your shame. Being emotionally naked means being vulnerable enough for the real you to shine through. Vulnerability is a strength, not a weakness. Practice being transparent. Start with people closest to you. Say, I haven't been showing the whole me, but I am starting today. Have the courage to feel and express your feelings without being people pleasing. Speak your truth, share your story, cultivate an appreciation for vulnerability in others. Become comfortable with feeling uncomfortable and making others uncomfortable. Okay? Become comfortable with feeling uncomfortable and making others uncomfortable.
And making others uncomfortable. Ooh.
I'm available for that one. I love that sentence. I love that sentence because this is something that I have been embodying for quite some time. Uh, at least for the last 3 years, where I'm like, if it comes down to me being uncomfortable or you being uncomfortable in a space, I'm choosing you being uncomfortable. And I'm going to say or do or express in a way that is that makes me feel good and not in any with any malintent. But
Right.
if we are in a space and I am upset about something, I am not worried more about if you are upset because I'm hurt. I'm sad. I'm upset. And all I can really control is me. How you respond is not up to me. And I'm so
Well,
glad that I used the word control because we think control means someone telling somebody what to do, but it is also us contorting and moving and withholding things in order to control how somebody's response may be. So that's my little spiel to start.
what I would love to talk about is this word uncomfortable.
Hmm.
Because I am loving that as a society we're using that word more and more.
Hmm.
However, comma,
Hmm.
I would caution against using it so much to mask what's really happening,
Hmm.
right? So I'll give an example. My son's gonna kill me, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Just like a real world, he's looking at me, a real world example, right? So if
Hmm.
we go out and he doesn't have his coat on, and of course, he's a man, so he's got some of that masculine energy, going on, and I'll be like, are you cold? And he might say, well, I'm uncomfortable.
Hmm.
When the truth might be, I'm gonna say might, he actually is cold. You know what I mean? That
Yeah. I hear
you're
you.
looking at me crazy. Yeah, we sure do. Right? And so we do this though emotionally, right? I could say,
Hmm.
well, I'm feeling uncomfortable when the truth of the matter is I'm upset,
Yes.
right? Or I'm offended,
Yeah. I'm
or I'm
hurt.
hurt.
Yeah.
Woo!
That's the
Right?
one we don't want to say. Yeah.
That's the one we don't want to say, right?
Yeah.
I'm hurt. And or a lot of whatever the conditioning is, right? For a lot
Yeah.
of us, if the conditioning was you don't want to be the angry Black woman, then you don't want to say I'm angry, right? You
Yeah.
don't, whatever the conditioning was, you don't want to say that. And so we can say the word I'm feeling uncomfortable to express that something is not right. Another thing we used to say, particularly in the Black community, I'm feeling some kind of way.
Yeah. What
I'm
is
feeling
some kind of way? I don't, what is some kind? That means I have feelings that I don't have the language to express. And or I'm afraid to use the language, the real word to express because I'm not sure how you will respond. And these are
exactly.
all defense mechanisms that I'm not saying are wrong. I'm just saying these are what we've been trained to use to not upset other people.
And so I like the way you said that, right? To not upset other people, right? So, like when we're saying, I don't want to make someone feel uncomfortable, what really is it that you're avoiding? Is it, I don't
Yeah.
want to make them feel angry? I don't want to make them feel jealous. I don't want to make them feel, you know, um, left out. I don't want to make them feel shadowed, right? Like they're in my shadow. I don't want, there's so many real world things that the truth of the matter is we're afraid of.
Okay, because you just said something. You just said I don't want to make them. It is not. We're not making anybody feel
We're not
anything. Actually,
exactly,
we are
exactly.
we are allowing people to experience their emotions, and we don't want to feel those emotions. So we don't want them to have to feel those emotions because if they do, then they may come back at us and like question our emotion or question us, and we don't want to hear it. So we're really just trying to control other people's emotions by not sharing our own.
Right. Number one. And number two, we're also trying to control the outcome of those
Mhm.
emotions, right?
Yeah.
And and based on maybe former patterns or tapes that are running in our subconscious, I don't want to make them mad because right
Hmm.
now we have a whole story. If they are mad, they
Yeah.
will. leave, they will not talk to us anymore, we won't be friends anymore, we won't be right. And so, or if they feel offended, or if they whatever it
Oh,
is, then
child.
we have the story that runs behind that, and we really don't want the consequence of
Yes.
the emotion, right? Or the
Yes.
feeling,
Yes.
right?
See,
And
she talking to me, y'all. She talking to me.
and there's so many ways that I could go with that, because number one, you can't control the consequence, no matter what you
Mhm,
do. Number one.
mhm,
Number two, it's unfair to you and your emotions
mhm.
to suffocate them
I like that
so
word.
that a consequence won't happen. Number three, sometimes the consequences are not even real, right? They're
Okay.
projected on.
Did that even happen? Will that even happen? We do not even know.
We don't even know. And then number four, if the consequence is so detrimental to your well-being, then that is a red flag. For
Come on.
example, if I express, I really don't feel like cooking today, and you are in fear that the consequence of them getting angry is being hit, or receiving the silent treatment for a whole weekend, or like this emotional, physical abuse, I didn't just need to say that, it's a huge red flag.
Absolutely. 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 Even if the consequence is them getting angry because you can't cook today. What? Like, yes, it is definitely a red flag. And also it is someone's reality, right? It is someone's reality. I know it has in the past, it has been my own reality,
Mine
right?
too.
Yeah,
Mine
so
too.
it is definitely want to make sure if you are listening to this live or to the replay that there is no judgment here. We are
Mhm.
speaking from
Mhm.
clear experience. And that is a part of this nakedness that we get to share more. I feel like this has been coming up a lot more in the community that I have here locally around telling your story, telling your truth. Um,
Mhm.
there was a woman who was in our community. We get together on Sundays at this thing called Soul Work Sundays, and it's amazing. And for some reason, there was like a question that was in the air. Like you could tell people had questions. It wasn't time to go, so it was acknowledged that, and we were like, just whatever questions you have, just say it out loud. Maybe somebody else in the room can support. And
Mhm.
this
Mhm.
woman was just like, my cousin just committed suicide like a week or
Wow.
two ago,
Wow.
and she was 20 something years old. And I don't know how to help. She felt like there was no other options. How can we help our family? Because she was like, I didn't realize until it was this close to home that there's so much that not just young people are dealing with, because we have so much access, but people our own age and older who are just
Yeah.
like feeling hopeless and helpless and
Yeah.
faithless, right?
Yeah.
And there was plenty of different responses that could be supportive, but one of my responses was, one, we get to urgently make it an urgent need to take care of ourselves. Like, pour into yourself, dig deep into what it is that you have been suppressing, and
Yeah.
then also make community business your business. Share your story,
Mm.
right? Like your family business is your business. The people that
Mhm.
you're in connection with is your business. The people walking around in your community is your business. We keep talking about I just minding my business, and sometimes I even say it too because I'm being funny or what have you. But if you if you see a family member or a community member and you don't see them for the next couple of weeks, send them a quick message. How are
Right.
you? What's going on? Stop by their homes, right? And
Right.
sometimes and I say get yourself together urgently first, because we can't be out here talking about what's going on with you when we are when we are struggling, right? And first, and then secondly, the other thing is like, it's not always about talking and telling people what they should do and how they should have faith, and they're how much you can tell them how much they are valuable, because we get to affirm one another, but we get to show up, bring them
Yeah.
something to eat, ask them to go for a walk, you know, spend some
And
time with them, walk
just
along.
listen.
Yeah, just
Sometimes
listen.
just listen.
Yes.
Because
And
a lot of people feel like they can't say something because they don't know what to say.
yeah.
And sometimes the best thing you can do is not say, right? Like,
Mhm.
don't say anything at all.
Yeah.
Just listen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think a lot of us are trained to come up with a solution because this person
Right.
has a dire need.
Right.
And they may have a dire need, maybe holding their hand, walking in the park or something, sitting on the phone quietly, going to the grocery
Yeah.
store for them because if it's really hard, watching a show with them, like
Mhm.
showing up for your community, that is a part of, I feel like it's a part of emotional nakedness because you're allowing yourself to just be there with them,
Right. Right.
right?
And
You're allowing
and
them to,
sometimes it is the most comforting thing for someone to hear someone say, "Wow, you know, I have no idea what to say. I have no idea
yeah.
what to do. Because this is nakedness, right?
Hmm.
It's being
Hmm.
so open and vulnerable and truthful. Damn, I really don't know what to say. That sometimes that's affirming.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
affirming, and I'll tell you why. Because we're living in a culture right now where everybody has the answer.
Oh my God.
Everybody has the answer. Everybody has advice.
Yeah.
Everyone is a coach or consultant, right?
Yeah.
And when
Yeah.
you're in that space,
Hmm.
it's overwhelming. You already feel like you're a failure, like you're not enough, right?
Yeah.
And so to hear more advice, coaching, consulting, to hear more that
Yeah.
I'm not in the space to engage in or act or live up to,
Yeah.
sometimes can be even more damaging. So to be vulnerable, to be naked, and to be open and say, I I have no words. I don't know what to say. Wow, this is um
Yeah.
yeah, this is big. This is huge. And sometimes that's just confirming to know that
Yes.
what I'm going through, I'm not crazy. This is overwhelming. This is difficult.
Yeah, that's one thing I like to say to people when they're sharing. I'm like, wait, slow down. This is a big deal. Don't talk past it because I think we have a really great way, not great way, a really big way of talking past things that are a really big deal. Either it
Mhm,
be on
mhm,
the
mhm.
pleasurable side or on the upsetting side. Like, let's spend some time here and allow yourself to really help us understand what in the world is going on right now, right? And that is
Right.
that is part of I like what you said is just like some people are coached out, solutioned out, talked out, right? And
Yeah.
that's another reason why I love this embodiment work that I do, because it's not only about talking, it's about breathing, and that breath brings emotions. It releases tears. It allows you to move your body. Sometimes there is some drawing that you may want to do. Sometimes it's a poem that you may
Yeah.
want to write. Sometimes you just want to act it out because you just don't have anything else to say. You want to make a sound that goes with how you're feeling, right? And
Right.
I allow space for that. And so Latoya just put in the chat the link to my event that's happening this weekend called Freedom Revealed. It is Friday to Sunday from December 8th through 10th. Thank you so much. And it is an opportunity for us to do those somatic practices such as breath work and moving our bodies around, but also rewriting the narratives of some of these stories that we have circulating in our mind, either because they are our experiences or they are those impressed upon us from our ancestors, from those who have come before us, or from society. And we get to say no more and create a new, authentic story that feels good to us. And be celebrated in community. So definitely feel free to join us. There's still space for you if this is in alignment. And let's be urgent about these investments that we make in ourselves, right? Let's be
Mhm,
urgent
mhm.
about this work. We shouldn't bring, not shouldn't, I don't like that word, but we don't have to bring this energy into a new year. Like we can talk about New Year's resolutions, but let's clear out the gunk before we move into the new year. So yeah,
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
excited about it. I'm really
Yeah,
excited.
yeah, absolutely. And you know, you bring up another point is community. And a lot of
Mhm.
us feel like we don't have a community. Well, something just came up for me right now. But a lot of us feel like we don't have a community that we feel safe enough to,
Yeah,
as they say, let your hair down and get naked.
yeah,
Um, and the truth of the matter is that, you know, sometimes it's the reverse. Sometimes it's get naked first
yeah,
so that people can see the real you, the true you.
yeah,
And then birds of the same feather will flock. So as
yeah.
opposed to us trying to find the flock that have the same feathers, show your feathers. And
Ooh,
birds of the same feather will flock together.
ooh, I love that.
Mhm,
I love that. You go first. Yes, you go
mhm,
first.
mhm.
I think
Yeah.
that's a lot of reason why we can't be vulnerable because we're waiting for somebody else to be vulnerable first.
Oh,
And it's just like, well, and I find, and maybe some women might be upset with me, child, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. Okay, I'm okay with people being upset with me because it is. If I upset you, then there's something in there that you're feeling. But a lot of times we talk about how men are not emotionally available, but when we are not very clear about what we want, what we desire, we are not even. We're waiting for them to know how to treat us or whatever, and we're not sharing what we need, what we like, what we would like for them to do, what we want from them, because we don't want to seem needy, but then we want them to satisfy our needs and be there emotionally. Well, you're not emotionally available, sis. You're not naked. Okay. So what are you asking this man to do it for? You go first. They follow our lead, just so you know. Okay.
Ooh,
Yes.
dropping all
It's
the
not the other way
dimes.
around. They follow our lead.
Dropping all the dimes.
Hmm.
And it also goes, we've talked about this before, but it was a huge thing for me,
Hmm.
letting people in and letting
Hmm.
people help me. And I'm
Yes.
going to say it. I think it's conditioning, but
Yeah.
it's an ego conditioning, right? Like I can help you, but I can't receive help.
Oh,
Just truth. Just
yes, it
truth.
is.
I'm going to give you the shirt off my back. I'm going to give you
Yeah.
the last dime in my wallet.
Hmm.
You need me, I'm there. But then
Yeah.
when I ask you, hey, what do you need from me? Your first answer is nothing. I'm good.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let's take a step back. And maybe
Hmm.
you don't need anything. Maybe you are good. But let's take a step back and let's get naked, right?
Yeah.
Let's look at ourselves.
Yeah.
And is this conditioning? Is this masking?
Hmm. 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 I agree because there's plenty of us who are like, I do everything for everyone and no one does anything for me. It's like, do you ask? And when you are asked, what do you say no because you're like, oh, I could do it better, I could do it faster. They may not do it in the time frame I want. They may not do it this
Right.
way or that way. And it's like, okay, so you're pushing away the help. Then you can
Mm.
actually be supported. And one activity, is it an activity? I don't know. One way of being that I practice in my relationship, my partner practices more than I do. But he asked, like, what do you need from me right now?
Mm.
Do you need a solution or are you just sharing with me?
That's a really good question.
Cause yeah, I sometimes I just start going off and I'm like, wait a minute. And then you want to give me an answer, and I'm like, that's not, I didn't.
That's the way. It's a really good question, and I would say so, especially for those who are men or have that male energy, because they they tend to want to solve and
Yes,
more so, just the tendency. And
yes,
so it's a great question.
yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah,
So we get
I
to
love
ask
that.
that. We get to ask that of our friends in our community, in our
Hmm.
family.
Hmm.
Like, what do you
Hmm.
need from me? Is there a solution that I can provide? And maybe they don't. it depends, right? Sometimes people are so distraught, like asking them another question is just like, right? So you get to feel into it, and I say take a moment to just listen for the cues, right? And I'm not saying we have to, read each other's mind, but there's some energy behind like dire situations, like I would like to sit with you right now. Is that okay? Or offering up something that's small to see if that's what the need is. So would you like a hug? Like my partner's daughter, sometimes she has big emotions, and I'm like, would you like a hug right now? And sometimes she tells me no, and that's okay, and that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, because maybe 10 minutes later, child, she come running in there and like,
Oh, so that reminds me, because my daughter's the same way, and
yeah,
she's only 5, but she's very aware of what she needs and what she doesn't need,
mm-hmm,
right? In the moment. And so sometimes, the other day, I was writing about this. Just the other day, um, she was at school, and someone kicked her while they were playing, and she handled herself. Let me just say that she handled herself.
yes,
And her teacher told me so. This is what happened, but she handled herself. And I was
mm,
like, okay. And then, but we came home and she started crying. And I was like, hey. And she said, I actually just want to sit and cry right now.
mm, mm,
And
mm,
so it wasn't a thing of what can we do, what you want us to say or what you want us to do. No, it was that I just need to, really what she was saying is I just need to process,
yeah, yeah,
and I need to say this because this is really important as far as children. I said, okay. I think it was the way that she expressed it so clearly.
yeah,
And I
mm-hmm.
said, okay. And then she said to me, but you all will say there's no reason to cry.
Mm,
So this is me being naked,
mm,
because we do say that.
mhm,
If there's
mhm.
no reason to cry, like from our perspective,
Ooh,
from the parent or the person outside looking in, right? And I think this is the thing that many parents say, like, there's no reason to cry. You want me to give you a reason, right?
yeah,
But this can also happen in partners, right? Like when you
yeah,
really just need a shoulder to cry, and then the person's like, well, what are you crying for though, really? Right. And
yeah,
so because she expressed it that way, and then I said, okay. And she said, but you all say there's no reason to cry. And it allowed me to say, I'm sorry that we say that.
mm,
And the download came to me really in that moment. There's always a reason to cry.
yes,
We just don't all know it. We don't
mm-hmm,
know what it is in the moment. We don't always know what it is in the moment.
yes,
If your body is feeling like crying, it's because there's something it's processing,
yes,
consciously or subconsciously. And,
yes,
and so it was her being naked.
yeah,
Her allowed me the space to also be naked. And what
yes.
a beautiful connecting space.
Ooh, I am so glad you said that because that's where I was gonna go. Like, there
Mhm.
doesn't need to be a reason to release your emotions. And maybe and exactly the moment may not like the reason may not come to you right then, but your body is saying that it wants to release something. It wants to do something, right? So a lot of times as women, we're like, I don't even know why I'm crying.
Right.
You don't have to. You don't have
You
to
don't
know.
have to.
And that's the other thing. If you do ask someone what do they need, because that is a question we are saying that can be supportive in your relationships or connecting with people or allowing them an opportunity to be emotionally naked. Be okay with the answer, I don't know.
Mm,
You as the receiver
mm,
and you as the
mm,
person who has the issue, you can say I don't know.
mhm, mhm,
And
mhm,
your person as the receiver can be like, okay, I
mhm,
understand.
mhm,
Um, what
mhm,
I can do for you is sit here. Is that okay? I can listen. Is that okay? And maybe that those are answers that something that can bring answers. Or would you like me to ask you more questions to help you figure it out? Right? So it is okay to allow space for processing emotion. It's okay for the I don't know. I think we have this idea that we're supposed to have the answer very quickly as
Yeah.
well. So know that it is okay to say I don't know, and that's part of being naked. And also, I just want to congratulate you for apologizing. Like,
Mm.
parent, I know that a lot of times, I know from my experience, my parents did not apologize to me.
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
watching, hearing you, watching my partner apologize to his child or to your daughter is a really beautiful experience to teach them that they get to apologize when something has offended someone, and they also uh, are deserving of an apology when they are offended or hurt.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah. It's definitely a growth journey.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, so I'm grateful to be on it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so those of you who are listening, um, what does getting naked for you in this
Mm.
final month of the year? What does that
Mhm.
look like? What do you get to shed and or take off
Mhm.
so that you leave this year in the most authentic version of yourself?
Yeah. Ooh wee.
Hmm. Yeah.
Mm.
And leave comments in the chat. We'd love to hear from you.
Oof. Can I just share one last thing
Yeah.
here? It says practice being transparent. Start with the people closest to you. Say, I haven't been showing the whole me, but I am starting today. And have the
Hmm.
courage to feel and express your feelings without people pleasing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So, my dears, feel empowered, feel
Okay.
supported, and
Mhm.
feel loved.
Yes, we are sending it all to you. Until we meet again.
Till we meet again.
Bye.